Alice in Borderland. It actually just came out a few days ago, and it's season two, long awaited. I ended up not watching it because I didn't think it was going to get another season, but then 2 years later it got one, so I ended up binge watching the whole thing, and I it had a lot of kind of similarities to me to Squid Games. I don't know which one came out first, but in the sense of like they're both kind of like games that you have to play against other people and win or die, and your
Hmm.
life is at stake. But what separated this for me was that I liked that the games kind of had the way they organized the games. They based it off like cards and like suits, and how there's different suits like spades, hearts, diamond, and all that, and then the difficulty of the game would be how high the number is, or if it's in a face card. And so the first season was actually just the numbers and kind of introduce you to the basics of the game, and you could see how heart games could be really tear you apart. Mainly because if you go in with your best friends like the main character did, the heart games can you possibly might have to kill them. So
Yeah.
that's why it's called heart games. So you that's what ended up having happening to the main character
Is this a
Arisu.
Korean show also or Japanese?
I want to say no, it's Japanese.
Let me look
They're
it up.
they're in Tokyo. Um, So yeah, I love the games, especially the heart games. That one really got me. It made me think, what if it was us, Los Wise Guys, or Los Wise Guys and Chris and Jonathan. uh,
Yeah.
would we be able to choose one of us to to live? Because that's pretty much what they did. They
Yeah.
sacrificed themselves and were just like, all right, Sue, if anyone's gonna make it, it's you. And it was kind of like this really special moment between them, because they were really the heart game really got to them. They were starting to turn on each other, but then at the end they were just like, "What are we doing?" And so it had little moments like that I thought were really cool. And spade games were physical games. You would have to like run around, and like there'd be a person trying to like that's it kind of technically, and like shooting at you, trying to kill you. Um, but the second season where they stepped up the ante, they got to the face cards, and so it was the second season was really insane. The games just got crazier. I loved how they kind of separated the games between all the characters they amassed in the first season. So you
Hmm.
got it wasn't just Arisu jumping in all these games and getting banged up and coming out and just going like fucking like a madman, just going through game. They kind of spread it out so you could still see the games, but through other people's eyes. And there was a decent amount of characters, but towards the end, I was like really attached to them. And there was a moment, spoilers, where like almost all of them died or were close to death, and I was just like, it really made me feel like Game of Thrones, the Red Party,
Oh
or,
yeah.
or whatever it's
The
called,
Red
where
Wedding.
everybody just like died. I was like, what the heck? What happened?
Yeah.
All my favorite characters are dead. It's like I had that feeling, and I was just watching them die in front of me, and I was like, no, what's going on here? Um, but it ended up getting really trippy at the end in the last game. It was pretty cool. I love the games too. They're like kind of tricky, kind of easy. Some of them like you have to really think about it, or some of them it's like it's the simplest thing is you're just overthinking, and it's like damn, why did I overthink? Especially with this last one, the last game, the Queen of Hearts. He uh he got to this queen, and she had to play cricket or some game like that. I don't think it's cricket. It's one of those types of games where it's like a mallet and you have to hit it through like a horseshoe type thing. But anyway,
um. Yeah, I forgot what that's called.
yeah.
It's not
So she
cricket.
it's something with a Q, I think. Anyway, so the
Croquet.
object the yeah the
Okay.
object of the game was to just finish 3 rounds, to finish the game. But after the second round, she kind of like put him in these crazy ass genjutsus, uh, illusions,
Oh,
for
okay.
people that
Genjutsu.
aren't like, yeah, genjutsus. Um, so it got trippy at that point because they kind of led us into believing like, oh, it's this, but then it was just like, oh no, it's a genjutsu, and then it's like it's this. He's like it made you think like he was like just a crazy person in a hospital, but that was actually just a genjutsu, and then they switched out to like
Genjutsu, bro. You're killing
genjutsu.
me.
I keep saying it wrong.
Trying to say
Genjutsu.
it's like the GIF and GIF thing. No, this one is actually Genjutsu.
It's genjutsu. Yeah, so he kind of like gets demoralized in that genjutsu, and he ends up just kind of, the main character gets kind of manic throughout the episodes, especially because of all the like trauma and turmoil. He'll just shut down and lay down on the street, like one of those types of things. So he kind of gets to that point. The queen kind of gets him and breaks him down with these illusions, and it comes up to this one chick that he fell in love with and he promised to protect forever. So she kind of like sacrifices herself, like because she's like telling him to get up, get up, get up, and like
Yeah.
he's just done. He doesn't. He's been through so much, and at the end, like even though he's at the end, he's just like, I lost everything though to get here. So it's like, what? I don't. What is the point? And so she kind of like fake kills herself. She like cuts herself to um to get him to get up. So it's like, you said you protect me, and now it's like, so he ends up getting back together, and this act of love, like I guess affects the queen because she decides to like kind of put down the genjutsus, and
Hmm.
she allows him to actually finish the last game. And granted, it took like what looked like 7 hours. They actually finished it, and he won the game
Nice.
in the end. And but that's not the crazy part. The that was just, I mean, I guess that's the bulk of it. But there was a twist at the end. They ended up going, once he completed it, anybody that was still alive, even if you were on the brink of like death, as long as you're alive, you got to choose. Do you want to remain in Borderlands and you can live there permanently without like a visa, and you don't have to like play the games, you just live there, I guess. Or you can go, you could decline it, and they didn't say what happens if you decline it. So some accepted, some declined, and then the people that declined went back to uh real world, regular world, or what we think is real world, because it could just be another illusion. Who knows? But it they go back to like the first scene that the show started on, where it's like them just hanging on the block, and then they jump into the subway and hide in a bathroom. That's the point when everybody disappeared and the show started. They were in Borderlands,
Mm.
but they kind of went back to that original point and continued. Life just continued.
Oh,
Um,
interesting. Okay.
but when
It's
they were
kind of like a
outside,
Matrix type shit.
yeah, but when they were outside, you could see that all the characters that were in the show were in that kind of like crosswalk intersection. Just they didn't know each other,
Hmm.
and then a meteor comes and like hits the building that was right next to them, and all this debris falls on them, and they end up getting all these injuries that mimicked all the injuries they got in Borderlands. That I at least I noticed that.
Oh,
So there's
interesting.
one chick that like lost her leg, and she ended up losing her leg in real life. And
Hmm.
one dude like got his eye messed up, and he ended up getting his eye messed up in the real life. And so it made you think. It was like making me think at the end, like what is really happening. And then
Yeah.
there was like a final scene where there was like a deck of 52 cards. All the 52 like flew away, and then they zoomed in on a Joker card, and it made me think like, is there one more game? Is
Season
there
three.
like
Okay.
one last game they have to beat or something for season three, or is is it just like a joke? Is it the Joker just
Mm.
signifying a joke? Like you think you're in, real life, but you're just in this Matrix type reality, and you think it's real life. And so I really like that last scene because it made me think. It's just like I really still don't even know what's happening, and they could just leave it there, or they could keep it going. And it's just I loved how they ended that. On top of me loving the games, I didn't even talk about all the games I wanted to, but it's a amazing show, I thought. And really, if you like the Squid Games or that type of like fight for your life type of survival games type of show, this is definitely that show for you.
I like how I like how they like the Korean Squid Games and like this thing is all about games that are based on you winning to keep your life or you die. It's just I feel like Battle Royale, like the manga, like really made that very popular, and then you had like the things that came off of that, which was like the Hunger Games and things like that. People love, and it's like war simulation, right? It's kind of like survival war simulation that for some people, for some reason, people really are attracted to. Um, but it very cool. It sounded very interesting. I might actually give the show a shot at this point because I've been seeing it for a while on Netflix, and I was just like, I don't feel like watching this, but you made it sound interesting enough for me to go check it out. So
So
I
from
might
what
go
I've
do
seen,
that.
it's definitely a good show. Obviously, I don't know
Yeah.
what Disco was saying. Thank you for sparing me. But yeah, no, I want to finish season one. My only issue is like I'm like one or two episodes away, and it. I feel like it hit a point where it's just like I lost interest in it towards the end. So
It
I'm
I
hoping
could
it
see
picks up.
that, but at the end of the season one, they kind of up the ante and kind of
Okay,
like spice it up a little more.
okay, yeah, because I do want to see it. Yeah, man. But you're right. That's with the battle royale stuff. And all the credit in the world to pro wrestling.